Another story from the past, from Bill Fell. These are all true stories. I'm going back, way back now, to around 1970, the early 70s with the gas crisis. Many of you young guys and girls probably weren't even born yet, but it was a tough time. In those days, my background is in entomology, study of insects, and I had a fairly large pest control company back in the old days, and then I branched into real estate. But one of the tales that I tell is that there was a crisis with the oil situation, and the Saudi Arabians cut the oil off in the United States. So we had a gas crisis. Now, what the gas crisis meant that you would sit in line for 3 hours to get some gasoline for your car. Well, I knew a guy that owned a gas station. Fat George was his name. Fat George was a hell of a guy, nice guy. And I had done some favors for him, and I said, George, I need some gasoline to run my 3 trucks on the street. And he talked just like this, he had a real high-pitched voice, but he was about 400 pounds. It was really nutty.
Read that song, can you?
He owned a gas station out off of Moravia Road. And I said, George, I need some gas again. So he said, come by about 4:30 in the morning. He said, before the lights are on, and we'll get you some gas. So that didn't mean that I was going to fill my truck up. I took 2 55-gallon drums with me. So we pulled up, and he said, you want all that gas? I said, absolutely. So the lights were out in the gas station. It was completely dark, not much traffic, and we filled up 2 55-gallon drums and my vehicle. I said, well, we got some gas for a while to run our business, because we had a service business running vehicles on the street. Anyhow, I get the gas. I said, now what do I do with it? Well, I owned a little house over on Bolden Street, and it had one of those metal garages on it. So I said, roll the barrels into the garage. You could smell the gasoline. It was 110 gallons of gasoline. If it had blown up, it had blown up half of Hollandtown. But what could I do? I had to make a living. So what I would do is go down 3 or 4 times a day and vent the garage out, so the fumes wouldn't get too bad. Anyhow, that's how we got gasoline in those days. And would I do that again? Probably I wouldn't do that, because if something would have happened, it would have just blown up the whole block. But when you're young and you need the money and you got a family, we do crazy things. Here we are today, April the 14th, pandemic crisis, things closed down. I can't go to a bar and get a beer. It's just terrible. So you look at this and say, well, can you survive this? Well, when I look back to 1973, we had the same thing when the business stopped because of the gasoline crisis from Saudi Arabia. And we adapted. You have to understand, investors are like cockroaches. We don't go away, we adapt, and that's what we plan to do here now. This is opportunity time for us. Things are bad all over. People are running around, woe is me. And I agree, you have to be very careful with what you're doing, but the opportunities abound for somebody that uses their noggin a little bit. And that's what we plan on doing as soon as I get done this video. So I'll see you at the settlement table. Thank you.